Welcome back to Lessons of a Housewife. Stay tuned.
Nova is a runaway from South Central Los Angeles. She was 13 years old at the time of her first interview and is now 15. Prior to her situation, Nova lived with Beverly Hills with her great-grandmother. Her mother resided in South Central. This geographic split is important because it represents the first fracture between stability and chaos. From that moment, Nova ceased to be governed. There's no constant guardian and no authority capable of intervening in her life.
So basically what's going on in my life is my mom. When I moved with my mom, my whole life just changed. And what I mean by change, I mean my mom, she showed me different stuff. Before I got with her, I lived in Beverly Hills. I was with different people.
Who were you staying in Beverly Hills with?
With my grandparents.
Grandparents, okay.
First I stayed with my mom's mom, and then I moved with my great-grandparents, my mom's mom. So, when I moved with my mom, she started showing me different stuff. She moved me to the hood, the east side of LA, South Central.
And how old are you now?
13.
13, okay.
Yeah. When she started showing me all that stuff, and when she moved to the east side, my mindset changed. I changed how I look at things. I didn't look at things the same. And once my mom started seeing that I was changing and that I didn't think the same no more, she started treating me different. I feel like she didn't like it. But I mean, it wasn't really my fault. It was really her fault because I asked to stay with my grandma, and she forced me to move to LA. I used to get bullied and all type of stuff. But
to South Central LA?
No, in Beverly Hills and stuff, because it was always white kids and stuff around us, around me and my brother. It was me and my brother, and
But you were you said you were forced to move.
Yeah, I was forced to move.
To where?
Here. To LA. First I was in Moreno Valley, and then I was in Beverly Hills, but I was forced to move to the east side, to the ghetto.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I didn't want to go.
1. The displacement. Nova's instability begins with this, coming from her great-grandmother's home where the culture was less exposed to harm and placed into an environment marked by disorder. She experienced a culture that's degrading. Her biggest influence, her mother, who is lacking order both emotionally and physically, causes Nova to experience a lifestyle from what she sees. In disordered environments, there is no structure, discipline, order, and you can't protect your children from this if you are involved with it. When a child isn't protected this way, they are forced to become adaptive and start to believe that the so-called survival tactics in their community looks like independence. A child can see that there is no stability, so they stop expecting one.
So when my mom started seeing that I was changing and stuff, she didn't like it. I feel like she started being jealous of me because I started getting around girls that she didn't like. But whole time, I didn't know that she didn't like the girls, not the girls didn't like her. They were just telling me stuff, and I was learning new stuff, and I used to come to my mom is this true? And she used to be like, yeah, that's true. So I'm like, okay, it's different. And when I went to Bret Hart middle school, I had got jumped by these girls from Hoover, and I told my mom, and she didn't believe me. And I'm like, you don't even care about me, and she it's okay if some girls put their hands on you, fight back. And I'm like, okay. So after that, I started fighting more. When I started fighting more, I started not caring about anything, and my mom didn't like that. She started kicking me out. I came back. She was treating me weird. She kept bringing up stuff. She used to bring up how I got beat up, how I used to get abused by this dude, and that's when I used to run away. I'm not even gonna lie, I did used to run away. But my dad, he's a pimp, and I feel like he don't care because he's a pimp. He a gang member, but he don't care about me. Like I called him, when I call him? I called him in July, like right before I got my braces. And I'm like, Dad, can you come get me? He like, nah, I don't got time for your bullshit. And I'm like, I'm for real. He like, nah, I don't got time. And I'm like, but I'm for real. Like, can you at least take me home? Can you call my mama or something? He like, nah. And I'm like, all right. So I hung up.
2. Maternal rivalry and paternal resentment. Nova perceives her mother as jealous of her, which really means that Nova feels in competition with her mother rather than protected by her. Frequent arguments, social media conflicts, and repeated expulsions from the home reinforce this belief. Instead of correction, she is receiving rejection, and instead of guidance, a rivalry. When it comes to her father, he is described as a pimp and gang member. And this matters because of its criminal ways and because what it actually models to the child. A pimp does not represent masculinity as protection, restraint, or provision. It gives the idea that masculinity is an appetite without discipline, sexual access without responsibility, power without stewardship, and desire without any limits. When the parents are not guides, a safety, and a source of order, the child is neglected and fed to the streets. She describes her parents as immature adults that are not reliable, irresponsible, and complete failures. So in a child that feels unwanted by both, they will seek validation anywhere it's offered. And together, the maternal rivalry and paternal absence creates a psychological spiral downhill. The mother does not shield and the father does not defend. The child is left without a safe authority to submit to and is forced to act against it.
Yeah, but you've been working some of the streets as a prostitute? How long has that been going on?
Since May.
Since May?
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to that at 13?
I used to be around these girls from Front Street, and they had this, the girl that they was with wasn't from their hood, but she used to be around them. They used to call each other like sister, Fable, and all that stuff. And the girls seen how them girls used to try to bully me, and they didn't like me for some reason. They had some type of animosity towards me. And the girl that was with them, she seen like, I don't like how they treating you. You something better than that. Da-da-da. We could be getting money out here. Da-da-da. So a couple months later, she texted me at like 3 o'clock in the morning and was like, what you doing? I'm like, nothing. Laying down. I'm like, what you doing? She like, I'm out trapping. And I'm like, trapping? She sent the picture and I'm like, you do that now? And she like, yeah, it's fast money. You should do it with me. So, the next day, I texted her like, can you come get me? My mama acting weird. My mama was acting weird. She was threatening me to kick me out, break my phone, all this. I'm like, can you come get me? So she was like, yeah. I told my mom, I'm like, I'm about to go do a TikTok downstairs. And she was like, okay. And I'm like, can I do a TikTok in your car? Da-da-da. She gave me the keys. I put the keys next to the door, and I ran away. I went and I got in the car, and she was with this nigga. He had tattoos all over his face. He was playing music. He looked like a gangbanger. He was a gangbanger. He was a pimp, and I didn't even know that he was a pimp. So we had went to the Crenshaw Mall.
So your mom, just for those that are not aware, your mom was working as a prostitute as well?
I don't know.
That's what she told me in that interview that she did with me.
3. Rebellion through peer indoctrination. Nova's introduction to the street work comes through her peers. This matters because rebellion does not always look like defiance against authority. Sometimes it looks like an allegiance to a group when authority has already collapsed. Nova had a history of being bullied. Social rejection creates that vulnerability long before any lifestyle choice is made. A child is pushed to the margins already, searching for belonging, protection, and relevance. When a peer steps in and introduces the lifestyle, it is not framed as danger or exploitation. She's looking at it as a money-making machine, independence, and survival. Because the offer comes from another child, it feels like solidarity, like someone finally understands. And what would normally register as a warning feels like a rescue. When children learn survival from other children, exploitation becomes normalized and abuse becomes the culture. The peer group replaces the parent, and loyalty replaces the judgment. This is how rebellion forms in the absence of the parental foundation. When there is no stable authority to rebel against, rebellion accelerates into alignment with whatever force appears strongest or most validating. The child is not rejecting rules, she's rejecting instability. She is choosing what she feels controlled over what feels chaotic. In Nova's case, this rebellion leads her directly into the arms of the very archetype she associates with her father. She leaves home seeking escape from dysfunction only to replicate it. The rebellion is meant to be separation, but without guidance, it becomes repetition. By aligning herself with men who mirror her father's pattern, she simultaneously steps into the role modeled by her mother, becoming a young prostitute in the same economy of sexual exploitation, money, and instability she grew up observing. This is the quiet inheritance of disorder. The child does not consciously choose to imitate the parents, yet ends up reenacting both sides of the same broken structure.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about what you're going through trying to make money this way. Well, I mean, a 13-year-old girl, you start discovering boys and you're in high school and stuff like that. I mean, you're living a very different life than a typical high school kid.
Yeah. Boys, I don't really care about boys. I mean, if it involved money.
What do you, I mean, you're experiencing men, probably.
Yeah, men. I had like, it was like kind of like a real relationship. He was like grown as fuck though, like real grown. And after that, I can't do it because when they know that you're young, I was telling him that, no, I'm not gonna say all that. But when they know that you're young, they try to take advantage of you, and I could tell when somebody's trying to take advantage of me, and I don't go for that.
Defying life for a 13-year-old girl?
Yeah. Every time like before I go to the blade or anything, like my stomach, it'll feel like I'm finna throw up, like, or I gotta use the bathroom. Number two, cause it's like I'm nervous, my stomach bubbling. It's just.
Do these men know you're 13?
Shit, probably not. I just dated a guy last night and he told me, I said I'm 16. He said, please tell me that you're younger than that. And I said, why? He said, just tell me that you're younger than that. And I said, no, I'm 16. And he said, just please tell me. Like, it's weird guys like that. He asked me if I had any friends 10 to 14. It's weirdos out here.
4. Normalization of an evil society, the youth market. Nova speaks openly about something that should never be normal, that her young age is not a liability in the marketplace, but a preference. She recounts being asked not only for herself, but for girls even younger than her own age. In a healthy society, children are protected by layers of authority: parents, schools, neighborhoods, institutions, and laws that are actively enforced. When those layers collapse, exploitation does not merely slip through the cracks, it reorganizes itself into the market. Nova's parents play a major role in this normalization. Her father's absence in criminal sexual economy models a world where sex is transactional and boundaries do not exist. Her mother's instability, incarceration, and inability to govern removes the final barrier between childhood and adult danger. Together, they create a child who is uncontained, untracked, and unprotected. Predators do not need to create desire for minors, they look for the access of minors. And access is created when a child is ungoverned, out of school, online without supervision, moving between homes, and already in a sexual market. Her presence in the adult sexual spaces signals availability. Her familiarity with the adult language and transactions normalizes the behavior and reassures predators that no one is watching. The most disturbing is that this normalization feeds back into the child's psyche. Predators flourish when parents fail, where children are unaccounted for, and where the dysfunction is allowed to masquerade as a choice. When this type of dysfunction and evil becomes familiar, the unthinkable becomes ordinary.
What is this, what you're doing, do to you emotionally?
Emotionally,
I mean, you're laughing and joking about it, almost like it's not that horrible.
Nah, I laugh because I got braces. Ever since I got braces, I just been smiling and shit. It's not, it's not even that. At nighttime, that's when like all like my emotions come. You know, that's when everything that I've been feeling, it comes, and I start crying. I just get depressed, and then I smoke and act like it never happened. And it's like when shit happen, it's like I'm numb, and I don't know why it's like this, and it's crazy that it's like this. But it's like when it happened, it's it already happened. There's nothing that you could do about it. You feel me? So sometimes I can't even cry, and that's why people be like, "Oh, you just don't give a fuck." No, like I don't know if nobody ever felt like this, but I just can't cry no more. The tears can't come out, and I'm like, okay, he don't give a fuck. My mama don't give a fuck, so I don't give a fuck.
5. Emotional numbness. Nova describes a shift in herself that many people misread as strength. She mentions laughing more since getting braces she's paid for herself, but to outsiders this looks like confidence, progress, even happiness. What it actually represents, though, is adaptation. Material improvements becomes her mask, and material is the goal to fulfill the deep hole inside her. Nova explains that at night, her emotions used to surface. That detail matters because night is when the distractions end. When the body is still, the mind begins to process what the day suppressed. But over time, those emotions stop coming. Emotional numbness is the mind's last defense when pain is continuous and escape is unavailable. When dysfunction becomes constant, the psyche cannot stay activated indefinitely, but dulls the emotions to endure the pain. This lifestyle accelerates emotional shutdown because it requires repeated emotional detachment. Each interaction demands separation between the body and feeling. Each transaction reinforces the lesson that intimacy has no safety and attachment has no reward. By the time numbness sets in, the child is no longer reacting to harm. She is organizing her identity around this absence and stops expecting connections. Over time, she loses the ability to pair bond, and pair bonding requires trust, inclusivity, and vulnerability. Nova's environment teaches the total opposite: rotation, disposability, and self-protection. Emotional openness becomes dangerous, and attachment to someone becomes a liability.
That's who I really trust. Like, that's who I put all my trust in, God. I don't really trust no human being. Trust the Holy Spirit.
6. Spiritual rationalization. Nova states that she only looks to the Most High, that God is the only one she can trust. When every authority fails, parents, family, institutions, and protectors, faith becomes the last remaining anchor. Nova believes God is protecting her. This belief allows her to remain in danger while feeling shielded from consequence. When a child believes divine protection is guaranteed regardless of behavior or environment, danger no longer registers as something to escape. Survival is credited to God rather than chance, proximity, or temporary restraint from evil. Each time harm does not immediately occur, this belief reinforces itself that I am protected. The absence of immediate consequences is mistaken for approval of His. Faith, even properly formed, directs behavior. It calls for obedience, restraint, accountability, and submission to authority. It demands action, seeking safety, accepting correction, and placing oneself within ordered structures. Noah's belief does none of this. It does not move her toward protection. It replaces the need for it. Because there is no trustworthy adult authority in her life, God becomes a substitute for governance. Where a parent should have intervened, she expects divine intervention. When boundaries should exist, belief fills the gap. Responsibility is transferred upward while behavior remains unchanged. Protection is expected, not sought. Safety is assumed, not constructed. And because belief is doing the psychological work that authority should be doing, intervention feels unnecessary until it's too late. This is the final reinforcement keeping Nova exposed. As long as belief substitutes for action, danger can be endured indefinitely without triggering escape. And faith, untethered from structure, does not rescue her. It holds her in place.
your life to live over again, your 13-year-old life, what would you have done differently?
Would never have won my mom. I would have been like, no, I'm cool, I'm good. And if you really try to force me to go, like, I would have just told my granny, like, get her. Call the police on her. Like, get her. I do not want to go with her. That's what changed me, my mother. She, yeah. My grandma didn't show me none of this stuff.
So going back to your mom, is that something you're open to?
Yeah. Because, yeah. One day I might just say, like, if it gets too hard for me, I might just say, like, fuck it. And, like, really fight for my mama. Go to the police station and be like, I need to be with my mama. You feel me? Because that's what I'm doing now, but she doesn't believe me because all the times that I did run away.
You prefer to be with your mom?
Yeah, I prefer to be with my mom. In the future, I'm going to be with her. I know I'm going to be.
I mean, not every relationship between a child and the parent is perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have anyone you can go to?
Mm-mm.
You just stay at friends' houses or whatever you can figure out?
Whoever let me in. I mean.
It's a very interesting life you're leading, Nova. Nova's your street name?
Yeah. Not really street name. Because Nova, it means star. Like, you're going to be a star. Like, I'm going to be a star, you know?
I believe it.
Thank you.
You're smart.
Thank you.
Now, despite everything, Nova expresses a desire still to return to her mother. This is not because the environment is safe, stable, or corrective, but because familiarity feels like home, even when the home is harmful. Chaos, when repeated, becomes comforting. Disorder, when inherited, feels normal. Wanting to go back is not hope for her, it's an attachment to what she knows. Nova believes she is a star, that she will reap the benefits of what she is doing. And when a child has no protection, no authority, and no future structure, fantasy becomes their survival. The idea of being exceptional replaces the need for safety, and if she is special, then rules do not apply to her. If she is destined, then the risks are justified. There is a quiet narcissism embedded in this belief. It's not of arrogance, but of inflation of it. It is the psyche's attempt to outrun reality. Being a star becomes a shield against fear, a way to believe that exploitation will turn into elevation, get in the bag, they call it, rather than collapse. This is not uncommon in children forced into adult economies too early. Hope mutates into entitlement because humility requires security, and she has none. Every adult structure that should have intervened has failed her. Mother, father, educational structures, guardianship, and the community. What remains is a child navigating adult danger with a child's reasoning. This is a predictable outcome of broken families, sexual normalization, and the removal of authority from the home. Nova's mentality is the psychological residue of two parents who failed in opposite directions, but produced the same result. A father with no control over his behavior teaches his daughter that men are governed by impulse, not principle. When that man also abandons her, the lesson deepens. She absorbs two conclusions without ever constantly choosing them. First, that men are not to be relied upon to protect. And second, that sexual value is the only reliable currency between men and women. Her mother's failure operates differently, but lands in the same place. Incarceration for fraud removes not only physical presence, but moral authority. A parent who violates the law loses the credibility to teach, structure, consequence, and restraint. The child learns that rules are negotiable, that systems can be gamed, and that survival comes from bending reality rather than submitting to it. More damaging still is the pattern Nova observes. A mother who receives money from men, maintains a nightlife-centered lifestyle, and exists in relational chaos while denying prostitution outright. Whether the label applies is irrelevant. What matters is what the child witnesses. Men as financial resources, relationships as transactional, instability as normal. When a child watches a parent live without discipline, the child does not reject the behavior, they inherit it. From her father, Nova learns that men use and leave. From her mother, she learns that women survive by extracting. From both, she learns that authority is absent, boundaries are optional, consequences are delayed. Most critically, neither parent provides a counter example. There is no model of disciplined masculinity, no model of ordered femininity. There is no demonstration of restraint, sacrifice, and long-term thinking. Because there is no adult authority in her life, God becomes the substitute for this governance. Instead of a parent saying no, she relies on the belief that God will intervene if something goes wrong. Responsibility is outsourced upward while behavior remains unchanged. This belief allows her to maintain a high-risk environment without the internal alarm that would normally force retreat. This mirrors the abandonment she has already lived through. Just as adults fail to step in physically, divine intervention is expected to step in spiritually. The pattern repeats. As a result, her mentality forms around immediacy, money now, attention now, validation now, survival now. Long-term identity never develops because childhood was never protected long enough to exist. This is what generational disorder looks like in real time. And once this mentality sets in, intervention becomes exceptionally harder. This is the most dangerous inheritance a child can receive from the world. This case does not exist to condemn Nova, the 13-year-old who is now 15. But this case I brought to you guys because it exists to indict the environment that made this outcome inevitable. But what do y'all think? Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel. Click the notification button to alert you for all my new videos. Happy 2026 to the new year, and shout out to all those who follow me, reach out, and share my content. And as always, I truly thank you all for watching.
And I'm like, okay, he don't give a fuck, my mama don't give a fuck, so I don't give a fuck.